Yak Gadget, made in America, based outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Yak Gadget offers all kinds of storage accessories, quick mount motor mounts, anchor systems, track mounted accessories, even paddles. Go to yakgadget.com and get your kayak decked out for your next trip out on the water.
The 153 Bait Company, based in Troy, Ohio, make everything from plastics to custom painted hard baits. Hook 'em hard and hook 'em often. All of our baits are made to order and all of our hard baits are hand painted to order. So go to the153anglers.com to place your order today.
To hell and back is in the job description. Being roughed up, scuffed up, run over, kicked, thrown, dropped, dunked, and done the unthinkable is a duty we've embraced for more than 40 years. Through superior engineering and constant innovation, only Pelican has conquered the chaos a life of ambition can dish out. And we've done it to empower you.
Welcome to The Reel Down on Paddle and Fin with your hosts, Dan Perry and Jimmy Skinner, where we talk about everything tournament kayak fishing. Here we go. Hey everybody, welcome back to A Reel Down on Paddle and Fin. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about you?
Good. I'm ready. We got the big Dale Hollow thing coming up this weekend. Paddle and Fin, Clash of Clubs. We're going to have a 3-man team, so getting super excited about that. And yeah, just the whole thing. Dale Hollow is going to be awesome. Might be a little bit of weather coming, but it's going to be good no matter what.
I mean, if I get involved in a tournament, it seems like weather shows up. So I just kind of, I didn't even check the weather, and then I saw Brian's update on Tourney X about the weather, and I was like, go figure, it's going to storm.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I ain't going to have much time to pre-fish anyway, which actually no time. So, because I was going down tomorrow night, which now that's not happening. So I took my pre-fishing day out of it, helped them with everything Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and swing for the fence Sunday.
There you go. I'm going to try to get down there. I might leave Thursday night. I haven't decided yet. Thursday night or early Friday morning. I could only get off one day of work. That's just life around here. But
yeah, if you get off in time, you should just come Thursday night.
Yeah, well.
How far of a drive is it for you? Like 4 hours?
5?
5?
Yeah. That's like Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, not seeing the kids. So that's you got to think about that too. That's tough. So being a dad,
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, what we got going on today?
Yeah, tonight we have 3 guys, winners, first, second, and third from the All-American Kayak Series that was on Lake Ouachita this weekend. We've got, here they are, Lance Burris, Brian Hillman, and Mike Keafer. How y'all doing, guys?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, appreciate y'all being on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. The it's I keep hearing about the All-American Kayak Series and like it's supposed to be a big tournament trail, and I know they have the Classic every year. Are those two put together? Is that the same organizers? Does anybody know that? The All-American Kayak Classic. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, I can speak to that. So, the All-American Kayak Classic started last year, and it was the first year for it. And it's basically if you're in the top 10 of your club, your local club, state club, and qualify as long as your club's a participating partner. And on the heels of that last year, which Jeremy Mitchell won, he won $10,000. That was a big payday. But on the heels of that, Josh Boone,
and then he ended up in the 10 house or 10 invitational. He had like a good streak there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was something that Chad added on.
Yeah, he got into the Hobie thing. That's what it was. He got into the Tournament of Champions. That's what it was.
Oh, through the
the last.
I can't even remember.
Yeah,
I can't remember the shootout or whatever they call theirs.
Sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, Yeah, so through the All American Classic, Jared qualified for the 10, KBF 10, and then he followed that up with a shootout. Hit good enough to qualify for the TOC. So through the shootout, so he had a pretty good season. But Josh Booth and Tyler Cole launched the All American Kayak Series on the heels of the Classic last year, and Lake Ouachita was the first tournament of the year for the series.
There you go. Cool.
Nice.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, since none of y'all have ever been on show before, we'll go ahead and give y'all a chance to tell everybody who you are and how you got into kayak fishing. Mike, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Mike Keafer. I'm up here in Rogersville, Missouri. I used to do big boat tournaments, fished with my aunt a lot. My cousin got me into the kayak fishing. It just kind of took off. Been doing it about 5 years now.
Nice.
Okay. And what do you do whenever you're not fishing?
There's
Work.
no such thing.
Try to go on vacation some.
That's what it used to be for me, but now like all of my vacations are fishing. So there's not really like me and the wife go to the beach, but I go down there to go fishing. That's kind of the only reason we're there. That and to eat. So.
And
But I
you
feel
and
like on the work thing.
Mike, you and Lance are related, right?
So.
A little bit.
All right, so you don't claim each other.
Our wives are sisters.
I got you. All right, cool.
Nice.
Brian, how about you, man?
Can you hear us, Brian?
Who's next?
Brian.
Was it me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I missed that. Yeah, I live in Springfield, Missouri. Close to these two clowns, and we all fish the Moyak series together. Just like most of us, I was tournament fishing out of a boat, for quite a while, and started in a kayak back in 2015, and actually helped start the Moyak fishing series as well. Back in 2015, there was 8 of us originally. A few guys dropped off after the first year, and so it was just a handful of us. And I guess a couple of years ago, Eric Hansen, who was the president, he was still running the series. He handed it off to Josh Booth, and Josh has done a great job. I mean, he's taken Moyak to the next level, and so I continue fishing that, and that's pretty much what I fish around this area.
Moyaks definitely seem to have kind of gotten more popular, and I've been doing this for almost a year now, and I can from never hearing of Moyak to now it's like every week during the prime of fishing season, we see y'all on the tournament scene and all that stuff. Not literally every week, but I definitely notice y'all a lot more than a bunch of other clubs. So it definitely seems to be growing.
In Missouri, it's crazy because
Josh has done a great job, and he's grown it quite a bit.
Yeah. Cool. All right, Lance, how about you, man?
I'm from Lake the Ozarks. Same thing. Started in bass boat fishing, based my whole life, but I kind of got into kayak fishing right there about 2018. Actually, I think it's right at the end of 2017. I fished one tournament. Mike actually kind of got me into it, had me fish a river tournament. And then the next year, I kind of searched around to find some local lake tournaments, and I ran across Moyak. So that's been my local club. And then last year, I did try some national events with the Bass Series, and kind of like fishing just different new lakes and stuff. But
Actually, I wrote down all your numbers because you had a crazy good year last year. It's like we kept almost having you on, but I know last year I think we had messaged the year you had was unbelievable. So congrats on 2020, and you're starting out 2021 great already.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a pretty good year so far for no longer than it's been.
Yeah. So cool. So your tournament, I'll go ahead and go over the numbers. Lance, you won it with 87 3/4. Brian second with 80 1/4, and Mike in third with 79 1/2, 60 anglers. And that was on Lake Watchtogue. Does anybody want to kind of give a lay of the lake for anyone that hasn't been on Watchtogue before? Kind of explain it.
I'm gonna pick one of you. You better hurry. All right, Mike, tell us about it.
It's a big lake. There's a lot of little islands, a lot of inlets, rivers. Pretty good looking place. Wish we could have hit it with before that cold spell came.
So what kind of fishery is it? Like a lot of grass, like heavy current areas? What kind of options do you have other than the islands and backwaters and stuff like that?
I couldn't find any grass. I think there was some on the south end. I think Lance found some.
Yeah, I found some deep hydrilla. It was anywhere from 15 to 20 feet deep, but just couldn't find the activity in it. And you can see it on the graph. I only found it in clear water. It was my first place that I tried, and I was hoping for just some big stages out in there, but you didn't find a lot of it. You found clumps, and I don't think there's enough there to hold them.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. Like, I've never fished grass over like 12 feet. Thinking about fishing grass in 20 feet, like my brain doesn't comprehend that.
I didn't believe it was down there, except for the graph wasn't lying to me.
Yeah.
Was that because the water was high and it's usually a little bit not as deep, or it's just always that deep?
I did research a little bit. That's why I kind of went looking for it, that it was in 15 to 20 feet deep. But you had to find it in the clear end. And so that was my first shot to rule out that side. I hate fishing clear water, but that was my first option to get it out of my head and go find dirty water after that.
I'm starting to get that way myself. Like, when I fish shallow moving water, I want it to be clear, but here lately, just fishing like main lake stuff, if it's clear, I do terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to have some color to it. Like, I don't get deterred by the muddy rivers anymore. Like, a lot of guys will pull up and be like, "Oh, it's chocolate milk, I'm out," and I'm like, "Hey, I might have a chance at this." Like, get out the big old spinner baits. Well, take us into, like, whoever wants to start. Talk about how you kind of prepared for it, and pre-fishing and all that stuff. I'm gonna pick again. Come on.
All right, Mike, you're first.
Mike again.
Well, I went down to day one Friday. Tried to pick some spots on the map. I kind of hang towards the rivers. Picked a spot up in Iron Fork. Did not do well. Couldn't get a bite. After that, next day went back to the map. Kind of figured, well, I do pretty good in coves, and docks is always a good thing to fish around. So that's kind of where I went final day.
Had the you mentioned a cold front. Had the cold front already came in before the pre-fishing, or did it kind of happen in between pre-fishing and the day of the tournament?
It was like a 3-day span.
Yep, that would have messed me all up, man. I can't.
Yep.
I'm still learning all the post frontal and all the, like, when you got a big temperature swing and all that. That usually just destroys any chance I have at anything.
It's still all pre-spawn there, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We've been here in Alabama. We had a few spawners. I didn't see any, but that's what I've heard. So I think we had like one tiny little wave that kind of got pushed off. But yeah, whenever it's all about to break loose here real quick.
Which is crazy, because this time last year I was already catching post spawners up here in North Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I'm hearing, they're not even ready yet. So, because sad to say, I have not fished but once in our state this year. I've been fishing everywhere else and doing terrible. I think it's a sign to stay my butt in Alabama.
All right,
Well,
Brian.
I'd heard they were
Yeah, it's,
moving up on beds before that front come through.
Oh, so it almost set up to be awesome, and then the cold weather had to come
spring's
in.
a little
and ruin
late
it.
this year for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right,
What
Brian, how do you prepare for it?
Well, I didn't spend a lot of time pre-fishing. I fished all one other time a couple years ago, so I just kind of went on history, went back to the area that I'd fished before. Spent a couple hours on the water on Friday, and I knew that Thursday night it got pretty cold, so I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I didn't get a whole lot. I caught a couple small ones, and then on Saturday I really didn't know what to do, so I just went fishing, and I went up the river and was looking for any signs of life, fish moving around, fish feeding, anything like that, and I found them on the flats, and I started off by catching them on spinner baits and a DT6 and a chatterbait, but I knew that cold front was going to mess them a little bit, and it did. Pulled them off the banks.
Okay. Lance, did you get down practice too?
Yeah, I got down Friday morning. I drove straight down, got in the water about 7:30, 8 o'clock, so I didn't get that real early morning bite that I kind of wanted to feel out. But that's where I said I wanted to check that clear water first. Did not have anything there that I was liking, or I found one fish, but it wasn't where I thought I could do any good. So I moved to my second location that had dirtier water, and I found the fish in the afternoon, but the sun was up high, and so it warmed the water up. So I wasn't sure what was going to happen in the morning, but there was more fish there than there was the first place I went, so I just went back to it. And they weren't there in the morning, so I just went took the torpedo, turned it on high, and just started beating the banks until I found them. I just kind of worked my way out, because since they weren't at the back, I figured they were out closer to the channel side. And about halfway out in the cove, I found them on a bluff line, just trolling a green pumpkin chatterbait and just dropping it off in about 7 feet of water. I found a better quality fish.
Chatterbait. Every week, chatterbait.
I'm gonna start like a jar, and I'm gonna put a quarter in it every time somebody says chatterbait on our episodes.
No.
I'm gonna be rich in no time.
It's always winners on here. It's amazing what that bait can do. All right, Mike. So tell us about your tournament, man.
I think I spent the first hour and a half hunting a little deeper section. With the cold front coming in, I kind of figured they backed off some, so I ran around out there for a while and couldn't find anything, and I decided to move back into the coves, and I think I got my first 3 in the next hour, and they were at the very back point of a cove. I couldn't get no bites along the sides. I mean, literally where it come to the point, and it was about 2 to 3 foot of water. So I feel like the warm afternoons was starting to, some of them were starting to move back on beds.
Yeah, I noticed that a few weeks ago on Dale Hollow that it was kind of like you said, it was like very narrow areas. It wasn't like they're in the back of the cove. No, they are in the back of the cove in a spot, that big.
Yeah.
That kind of like behavior blows my mind. Like I wish I had taken like some kind of biology classes or something just to understand like why they do things like that. Because I feel like you research stuff like that, nobody can tell you. They'll be like, it's part of their spawning nature. Well, thank you. That's useful.
Yeah, when I figured that out, I thought I was on them. Thought I figured it out. Started hitting all the back points of each cove. And it was just in 3 spots that I got 3 fish. After that, it shut down. And it was a grind the rest of the day just to find 4 and 5.
It's really rewarding, though, when it's a grind, when you get that 5th fish and get that picture taken. Because I know that last fish, I'm usually stressing out. Like, this is the one that's flopping the board. I know it. Here it comes.
Unfortunately, it was a 12-incher. So if I could have bump that up to a 13, I may have got Brian there.
So you only caught 5 all day, huh?
I had 6.
6, okay.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
you
But
had
2 of them are 12s.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
what were you throwing?
I got a spinner bait on the 3 that morning, close to round 1 when I found the 4th. Was in the back of a cove again, but on the other side of the area where I was fishing. I got number 4 on a spinner. I came back out near the deeper spot that I started that morning, and as I was cruising down the docks, they just went on a feeding frenzy. I kicked myself in the butt for not having my whopper plopper on, or whopper plopper style bait. It's actually a drunken mullet from Chase Baits.
Okay.
So I threw the swim baits in there, I threw spinner baits in there. They did not want it, and I was struggling as fast as I can to get that tied on there. And I pulled my 5th fish out, and then I was able to upgrade one of the 12s.
Cool.
Nice.
And do you have a particular spinnerbait that you like more than the other ones?
I just mostly color is what I'm going off of. This one was a chartreuse white and black, the gold willow leaf, and a silver Colorado.
Okay. We kind of have an in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still, people get so specific with spinner baits. That's still a technique I've never, I wouldn't say I've mastered anything. Maybe a damn shaky head, which I wish I hadn't, because I probably still throw it too much. But yeah.
That's me in a Texas rig, man.
Yeah. I still keep my spinner baits pretty simple, That's when I know people get all crazy and go with different blades and add them on and make them themselves. You see pros do it actually out on the water doing it. And that's way over my head. I've tried to listen to all the videos and understand all that and on why you would do it and when you would do it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I had just about stopped throwing spinner baits, and hearing guys talk about using it, I picked up one of the Accent Jacob Wheeler spinner baits, and the first cast I made with that, I caught a fish, and I've caught I still don't like keep it in my hand and throw it, but it's caught me a few fish because I've done, I like to pick the chatterbait up instead. And I mean, I still feel like there's a place for both, even in the same day, but I'm trying to get away from what everybody's doing and go back to what used to work. But that Accent spinnerbaits, I don't know what's different about it. Couldn't tell you. It looks just like every other spinnerbait on the market, other than that hot pink or orange, whatever little bitty Colorado that's on it. But it's killer.
I even put a post online maybe 6 months ago asking what everybody's favorite spinnerbait was. And I think there was 100 different answers. The old Terminator, that was a big one. The Accent, there's the Nichols. There's a few different brands out there that people are more partial to, but yeah, still, I got a few and I just throw them whenever. Oh, this one looks good. I'll go with that. Bigger blades, sturdier water. That's about as close as I get. All right, Brian.
The Nichols here lately too. That's pretty good spinnerbait.
Yeah. How was your day, Brian?
That was great. Got some fish. No, like I said, I didn't have anything figured out, so I decided to go up the river, up the Washita. The last time I fished that lake was 2018 at the TOC shootout, and we didn't get to go up that river, and I really wanted to go up that river. So I took advantage of it this time, and I went up the river, and I went 5 miles up the river looking for smallmouth, hoping I could find some long skinny fish, and I couldn't find any. So along the way I caught some fish about halfway to that spot, and so I decided to go back at the end of the day. I had 66 inches all day long. I caught my limit early. Like I said, I caught them on a DT6, a spinnerbait, and a jackhammer, and I went a few hours without a bite. So I decided to go back to the same area, where I caught those fish, the exact same spots where I caught fish. They weren't there, or they weren't biting. So I just went to fishing last 2 hours of the day, I just put my head down and just started chucking the jackhammer, and I'd figured out at that point that they were not in the bushes, so I didn't even waste time, flipping and pitching or making casts into the bushes too much. I was just making long casts and trying to cover as much water as I could. About 2:00, last cast was 2:30. About 2:00, I pulled up on a windy point, little windy point with some bushes on it, and the skies got a little bit darker and the wind blew a little bit harder. At that point, it was probably blowing about 12 to 15 at that stage, and I made one cast across that little point, and I hooked up with a 20 1/4 first
Nice.
cast, and then my very next cast, I hooked into a 16, and then I decided to give it a little break because I'd made a few more casts and get another bite. So I was running out of time, but I gave it 10 minutes, and I fished down the bank, didn't catch anything, ran back up to that point. Very next cast, I got another 16. So I upgraded 14 inches within about 15, 20 minutes basically on the same spot, making the same cast. So
I have yet to run into
Something
some
like that.
luck like that.
Yeah.
Where one spot just is like, you know what? I'm on. Let me help you out, because that don't happen to me. I'll get the one good fish off the spot and think, okay, this is it. I'll do the rest, and everything, like you said, never works out. There's probably 400 fish down there, 10 pounds, and they're all looking at me like, not your day, buddy.
Yeah.
Not this time.
I think picking
Not
up the way
today.
that it did, I think whatever was there, it just turned it on for that short period of time, and it lined up perfectly. So I'll take it.
Heck yeah.
So, did you win big bass?
I did.
Oh, wow.
Nice check.
$40, huh?
Yeah, it was. The payouts were pretty good at this tournament. It was a $100 buy-in and $10 for big bass, and for second place, I got a little bit over $1,100 for second place. I got a little bit over $500 for big bass. So that's
Worth
a nice
the trip.
return. Yeah, for sure.
New favorite lake.
My favorite leg. Exactly.
All right, Lance, how about you, man? So, yeah, and I see you have a bona fide, so y'all must allow motors. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I run a Torpedo. So it's ran a 403 for this one. Hopefully by the next tournament, I'll have the 1103 because they're talking about shipping it here soon. So
Nice. I'm getting to try one of those out this weekend. I'm so excited.
yeah, they're nice. I borrowed Mike's for the last bass event on Lake Fork, and first time I ran it, and it's a beast. You can almost feel like you're up on plane when you launch that thing, and be silent at the same time.
How fast did you said you borrowed it? Did you have it on the Bonafide when you used it?
Yeah,
How fast were you getting?
6.2.
God,
Wow.
that's moving. The fastest I've gone was on the Eric Jackson's Apex. We got 5.5 with a 403, literally epoxied to the back of it, and like that was fast enough. And then I see guys getting like 6.2 and 6.5 out of them and turning, and I just want to experience what I feel like. That's like riding a jet ski at that point with that 1103 on the back. I feel like it's gonna carve like crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Do you have to worry about just staying? I've never even had a motor. I have the battery. I'm ready to go. I don't know. I just haven't bought the motor yet. Have you? You ever worried about coming out of that thing? If it's going to be going that fast, you really can't turn. Like you're just.
Surprisingly, you can. So the foot controls that the Bonafide's got, they've got a pretty good. It's a stable steering system. They're on an aluminum bracket or aluminum. Yeah, I guess brackets, and they slide back and forth instead of just having your toe controls. And so you can. I run 150-pound steel coated leader for my steering cable, so they have no resistance. So you can whip that thing back and forth. So on Lake Fork, there's a lot of trees to dodge, and that was about the best.
That's the understatement of the year.
Yes.
Jimmy was there.
I watched my buddy one afternoon bend one shaft on his Hobie pedals, and then the same place the next day smack the other one. I mean, that place was brutal.
I've been scared to death to have a pedal drive on that lake.
I can say it now. I never hit one. Like paddling around, I high centered on a stump, but at like motoring across the lake in the frontier, I never hit one, and he was bouncing off crab left. I was like, dude, what is your deal? And then he had a bad trip, man. It cost him like $1,500 all the crap he lost and broke at that tournament. But
all right, so how'd you catch him, Lance? I mean, whatever you want to give away since you won,
Well, I actually still got it tied on. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but
yeah, man.
green pumpkin chatterbait. So I caught him on the cross eyes. I knew when they got a little too wires out there.
Yeah,
I was throwing a chatterbait or jackhammer earlier, but just the hookup ratio with trees and bushes were greater than the fish were, so I switched over to it, and that thing can bounce through some brush and just come through it all easy.
Can you speak on the differences? Like, do you know enough about the cross eyes versus the jackhammer to like say what the big differences or advantages are other than the cover? Because I was looking at them the other day and was like, I mean, they're a little cheaper. That's great.
Mm-hmm. As far as the difference, they do take off pretty quick, just like jackhammer does. So I didn't really see much of a difference on there. Color is pretty similar. The one color I found, it was a little bit darker of a green pumpkin. I'm not sure exactly what they called it. I didn't pay attention to the package, but it had kind of a dark back to it. So gave it a little bit different look than your standard all green pumpkin color. But I was running a Rage Menace trailer on it and had the tips of them actually dipped in Dip and Glow in chartreuse. So the water I was in was a little dingy. And I don't know whether that made the difference or not, but it seemed to get their attention.
Do you usually throw a Rage Menace on there?
Depends. If the water's a little bit cooler like it was, I'll throw it on there. I did notice there's quite a few bluegill that were up around, kind of hanging around the top, around the bush area. So I think maybe they had a little more action to it. But I'll switch back and forth from Rage Menace to any kind of paddle tail typically.
Okay. And do you run the Rage Menace sideways? Just curious.
No,
it's a regular. Yeah.
just regular.
Man, them fish don't care. I
was going to say,
I see these videos and I turn it sideways. Man, come on now.
No, I get that.
No. The only thing I've noticed, because I've messed with that a bunch, was like I've almost stopped throwing paddle tails on there. Like when the paddle tail would work, I'll turn the cross sideways. It kicks left or right, and then if, like you said, water's a little colder or anything, I leave it flat. And then sometimes I throw something that doesn't kick as much when the water's cold. I don't know. I think there's literally like no wrong way to do it.
Mike looks like he's got something to say here.
No.
He's keeping all his information on his chatterbait.
Hey, you don't care about that, Jack.
He's like, you chatterbait kids and your expensive stuff.
Yeah.
So does that cross eyes, does it have like a heavier weed guard? What makes it deflect all that cover better? Oh, I think we lost Lance.
Well,
He's frozen.
There he is.
Oh.
So it's got a single wire, but you can bend that wire in any different shape. So if you're coming through a little heavier stuff, or maybe your hookup ratio doesn't seem as well, you can actually kind of give it an angle on it and make it either deflect off the brush better, or you can bend them in closer to the hook if you're having a hookup issue.
Okay.
And to me, it like your typical weedless vibrating jig, they've got your standard 15, 20 different strands of piece of nylon plastic. And I feel like it's already hard enough to get a good hookup on a chatterbait. And these smaller wires seem to help quite a bit.
Are you just curious? Are you using a glass rod?
It's actually a hybrid. It's a Kistler feeling reel. So they're carbon halfway up, and the tip is glass. So
Ooh, that's cool.
they built it just for cranking and chatterbaits. It loads up real nice. It's got a good. I mean, you can put that chatterbait anywhere.
I just got my first.
I tried Kistler here in Texas.
It's a freaking nice rod, that's for sure.
I see them. It's like Kistler. You hear them every now and then, and boom! All of a sudden, it's like nonstop videos, Facebook, YouTube. Every time I turn on something, hey, Kistler, check out my rods. Sorry, that's terrible. But.
Yeah, you just try. I made a mistake. Josh Booth got me into them. He goes, "Here, just try this for the day," and tried it once, and then I was if you compare it to anything else so far that I've tried, just the feel is different, but they have a lot of good selection as far as variety.
I never used one, but I know they have the best hook keeper out there. I love their hook keeper that they use.
Yeah. Yeah, you can hook anything up in them.
Yeah, where you don't have to take it out of your bait. It's like kind of you can slide it underneath, or you can put it on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go look at Kistler's website. They have the best.
I'm gonna have to look at that. I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
We talking about glass rods. I just got my first glass rod, and I got it for chatterbaits. And the first fish I hooked up with, I lost, and was like, But I throw jackhammers, and that makes me wonder if, maybe the particular glass rod I have just wasn't, getting the hook up as hard as I needed. And I may need to try some of those cross-eye chatterbaits and give it another swing.
They're kind of hard to find, but I've picked up a few of them after I tried them back on Bull Shoals, because there's some brush up in there that I wouldn't be able to come through, and it did seem to make a difference.
We got a tackle shop in Coleman. It's kind of in between me and Dan, and they've got hundreds of those cross eyes, and nobody's buying them. So my chances of going and stocking up a few are good. I need to go do it.
Cool. Well, here we have a question from the crowd. Let's what's the best the best tournament 10-foot boat under 2,500?
Titan. Is the Titan under 2,500 now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Should be free.
I'd say Titan as well. 10-foot boat.
Wow.
Yeah, go 2 foot longer. That would be my biggest suggestion. You will not regret having that 12 foot of room. 10 foot gets cramped.
I wonder why 10 foot. You just maybe it wants a car top it. Maybe weight's a problem.
Yeah. Well, never mind. If weight's an issue, my friend, don't buy a Titan.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he said 10 foot. Really?
Here you go. I retract my previous statement. Native Slayer 10. If you're wanting something with pedals, 10 foot. Let's see, New Canoe. Nope, they're 11 foot. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Slayer 10.
Old
you can
Town
get them.
Sportsman 106. I mean,
that's a good boat too.
Yeah, that'd be good. And Bonafide, they have the 107. What the 107? What is it? The one?
Yeah,
107.
107. Yeah, I had a 127. That's a good boat. That was still to this day, out of all the kayaks I've had, that was the most riggable boat I've ever had. I loved the layout of it. That was definitely my favorite kayak for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen some crazy put together Bonafides for sure. We had one come in the local shop down here. A guy had hooked up to an RC remote control. He would launch it from his boat and drive the trolling motor with his RC controller, drive it back to the ramp. Yeah,
that'd be sad to see.
Oh, it was so he traded it for a new boat at our local shop. He had used the Milwaukee Pack Out toolboxes as tackle storage on the boat that would all swing around to in front of him. He had like 400 pounds of lights on it. Like you could probably see this thing from the space station. But the coolest thing was he had a legitimate Spectrum RC car controller that ran everything on the boat. And I was like, what? That's so cool. I'd just drive it around like a giant remote control boat. Anyway, we got way off topic, but So y'all had a killer tournament. So what's next for any of you guys? What y'all's next event y'all got coming up? Go ahead, Mike.
Table Rock, Moayak,
Nice.
24th.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all three?
Table Rock
Also?
for me too. Still, yeah. Considering
What about you, Lance?
Kobe Dardanelle as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna fish Table Rock, Moayak. I think the weekend after that, the weekend or 2 weekends after, they'll have the Lake of the Ozarks event in conjunction with the All American. I was gonna do Ocala, but I dropped that one out.
Yeah, there's a chance that Paddle and Finn gets to go up to Table Rock later this year. I'm looking forward to that. Table Rock's one of my bucket list places to go. I hear too many good things about it to not go check it out.
I bet we have close to 100 turnout.
I bet, yeah.
That's where we hold the Moayak State Championship also.
Okay, cool.
That's pretty awesome.
I know I've seen enough videos of that place. I'd love to stay at that with the Bass Pro Lodge you have there on Table Rock. Yeah, I know that looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the way? Is it on Table Rock or Bull Shoals?
It's on Table
Big
Rock.
Cedar?
Yeah.
Big Cedar Lodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there, right in the heart of the lake. I think we were looking at it. Me and Brian Schiller were looking at it not too long ago, talking about taking Paddle and Finn up there, and then realized it's way cheaper to find a house somewhere else other than that lodge.
Yeah, it's nice.
Cool. Well, anytime we have anybody on the show, we always want to give everybody an opportunity to shout out anybody who makes fishing easier for you. Mike, we'll start with you, man.
Man, Team Bonafide, letting me represent. I appreciate them. Zuni Outfitters for doing up my jerseys. Chase Baits, putting out some real good baits there. They've been a big support for me. Amphibia Eye Gear. OMTC here in Ozark, Missouri, a local kayak shop.
Chase Baits, are they the ones that have like the bird, like the the parrot looking deal or whatever it is? You ever catch a fish on that?
I haven't yet.
No, I seen somebody.
Their Drunken Mullet's my favorite.
Okay, Drunken Mullet.
I've seen, first time I saw that bait Dan's talking about, I was like, that thing looks ridiculous. And then I watched a video of a guy using it, like he was like pitching it up under brush and like working it out of the brush. And I think he caught like muskie with it or something, but I was like, man, that thing's actually pretty cool. And now I can't find them anywhere. So,
yeah.
Cool. Well, the Drunken Mullet, everybody has to check it out now. All right, Brian, how about you?
Shout out to Hobie Fishing Team, OMTC, Skirmish Baits, the Dwayne Beatty Company, Bass Mogul, Bulk Group, and all the Moayak peeps.
Cool. Lance, last but not least.
Definitely Bonafide, Kiss the Rods, Amphibia, Eye Gear. They got some pretty sweet sunglasses. My wife, for letting me travel around, do some of the stuff, and not be at home as much around the spawning season. So yeah, it kind of keeps me busy. Yeah, Crocagator. If you ever want to look up a pretty awesome buzz bait, it's kind of the original. That's called a head knocker. It'll bring some fish out of the bushes and the weeds and grass. It draws them out.
I've actually heard of that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it will.
I had forgot about it. Thank you for saying that, because now I need to get some.
Yes. I gotta get some more.
Cool. Well, we appreciate y'all. Go watch the show. Watch basketball. We appreciate y'all being on whenever there are big games going on. So y'all be good and have a good rest of your season.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Thanks
it
for
so much,
having me.
guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Well, there we go. As always, we're going to talk about some tournaments. First up, we had, let me see, the First State Kayak Anglers. They were on Mud Mill, which that sounds like a terrible place.
And it goes with the name, because I saw some pictures when I was looking at that event, and it is 100% a mud hole.
There you go. So they had 30 anglers, and first place was Zach Bunner with 53 inches. Second place, Dennis Campbell with 51 3/4, and David Burt in third with 45 3/4. Tough tournament. A lot of people zeroed in that one, so congrats to them.
Yep. And next up, we had the Bluegrass Kayak Bass Fishing Club out there in Kentucky. They were on Lake Cumberland. They had 50 anglers. Looked like a tough day. There was only 43 fish caught. Mike Baird came through with the win on that one with 72 1/4. The only angler with a limit. Second place, Paul Averill with 4 fish at 70 1/4. So for only having 4 fish, I mean, he was 1 fish away from taking that one. And third place, Nick McGuire, 3 fish for 43 1/4. So tough tournament, but congrats to the winners for sticking it out in tough conditions.
And last but not least, Tennessee Valley Kayak Anglers, TVKA, they were on Chick. Old KBN himself, Ryan Lambert, won that one, 59 inches, 3 fish limit. They had 32 anglers. Jacob Berry in second with 55 3/4, and Daniel Davis in third with 54 even. And I'll shout out Terry Golden in fourth, because that man catches
the boys
where they go. Yeah. But there you go. So, yep. Congrats to them, guys. It seems like I looked at schedule this year in that All-American Kayak Series. It looks like got some good lakes on there, and congrats to them doing well. And I don't know, that's about it.
I've been thinking about, as with all the traveling and stuff, instead of chasing the nationals, I think it'd be cool to join up and fish a lot of the clubs like that. I'd like to go fish with Queen City and the Moyak guys, and go hit up all them clubs in Texas. I think that would be just as much fun. Me and a buddy of mine were talking about it the other day, just traveling and doing that, and not chase angler of the year nowhere. I think it just takes some of the stress off, because you're not spending $250 at an event.
That probably would be a lot more fun.
I feel like I would do better, because I wouldn't be a head case the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Good show. I'm assuming next week we'll have the Paddle and Fin folks on, the winners.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Either somebody from the Open or the Clash of Clubs. We'll see how we're going to do that with the OG show, split it up. But, yeah, definitely have some winners on from there. So
maybe even do some live coverage from there.
Yeah, maybe. There'll definitely be some stuff on Paddle and Fin all week. Last chance to sign up. It's going to be a great time up on Dale Hollow. If you can get a day off, come down there. It's going to be fun. So that's all I can say about that. We've talked about a bunch.
Well, all right. Good show, man. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in again. We'll see you next week.
Wear your PFDs. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode on Paddle and Fin. Don't forget to go check out our website at paddle_and_fin.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Paddle and Fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest on a future episode, feel free to email us at paddle_and_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Paddle and Fin on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our show supporters, Angler. The Angler button and app just makes for a better time on the water and creates a virtual logbook for every fishing outing out on the water. Shout out to Rocktown Adventures, located in northern Illinois, for all your kayaking, camping, and hiking needs. Shout out to Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com